Hey y'all, I'm gonna make this really, really, really quick because as you can see, this video is about vitamin D, and I just, really wanted to share my thoughts with all of you um, before I ran into the sunshine and got my vitamin D. Now, this is going to be a conversation that's continued because there's so many fascinating things I've been learning about this vitamin, and I just think we just need to keep talking about it. But I'm inspired to do this video because I was in the farmer's market getting my cabbage to ferment some more kraut. And I'm really excited I got some fresh turmeric there too. DeKalb Farmer's Market rocks, doesn't it? Well, anyway, I found these trumpet mushrooms and I was like trying to decide, do I want mushrooms? And I was like, well, what exactly is in mushrooms? Let's look at, I've never really looked at the nutritional thing on mushrooms. So I look on the back and I see, okay, that's not working. I see that it's got vitamin D 15%. That's not bad. Not a lot of things actually have vitamin D. And then I see that it has iron 4%, riboflavin 15%, niacin 35%. I honestly didn't think mushrooms had much except like magical energy that helped us somehow. So I thought that was really cool. Now, before I tell you how much these other kinds of mushrooms have, which are both organic as well, let's talk a little bit about vitamin D, okay? I've been reading this book, which is fascinating. It's called Gut and Psychology Syndrome Gaps by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. She healed her autistic child by healing her gut, which was damaged by all kinds of things that she mentions in this book, including certain immunization shots that have thimerosal in them. Anyway, we're going to get right into it. I want to go get some sunshine. She just does this general thing which says the richest sources are fish liver oils, eggs, and fish. Okay. And then she also says that, this is interesting, low-fat diet leads to deficiency in fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, which means a disaster for all sorts of metabolic functions in the body, particularly for the immune system. That is something I read somewhere else too, that vitamin A and D, we think, oh, we're just eating carrots, we're getting a bunch of vitamin A. But the truth is that it has to break down into something else in the body. It's not like direct vitamin A, what you get from the carrots. Okay, so if you're weak, you want to give yourself something direct, not something you have to do extra work for. Like you want someone to give you a house that's all built instead of, here's some wood, go cut it up and build your own house, right? Okay, so then we go to the very long description here. Vitamin D. I don't know if I'm going to read all 3 pages because it's 3 o'clock and I need some vitamin D from the sunshine. Cholesterol is the major building block of vitamin D. Vitamin D is made from cholesterol in our skin when it is exposed to sunlight. Our recent misguided fear of the sun and avoidance of cholesterol-rich foods have created an epidemic of vitamin D deficiency in the Western world. Sunlight is by far the most important source of this vital vitamin for us, as the typical diet can only be considered as a trivial source of vitamin D, says Fraser, 1983. Now, keep in mind, I'm just reading this. This is not my opinion. This is not what I'm necessarily endorsing. It's just something I'm reading, and I figured let me share it. And if you'd like to discuss it, let's discuss it. Why not? Okay. So, something that's also interesting that I really wanted to share with all of you beautiful penguins and people. This is my hemp shirt. Yes, thank you. Hemp History Week. I, this year, have been sunbathing more than ever because I have more time than ever, like most people. except for the essential workers. Thank you, essential workers. I just got some groceries today. I appreciate you. Um, I, instead of using suntan lotion, which I know is not good for our water, our ocean, and don't be fooled, even the water in inland states still eventually ends up in the ocean and can kill the fish with those horrible nano xeno particles or whatever. So instead of doing suntan lotion, I decided, well, what would happen if I just put hemp oil directly on my skin? Now, this is food grade hemp oil. I meant to go grab it to show it to you, but you probably all know where it is. Like Nutiva sells it in Sprouts and you can even get it at Kroger. I even found hemp oil at Lidl for a deal, like $4 for a bottle that big, organic. I put it in salad dressings. I used to really be annoyed by the smell, but now I like it. And so I put it on my body and I noticed I don't burn. And so I'm wondering if there's a reaction similar to cholesterol in the body going with the sun to create vitamin D. Like, I wonder if it's creating something. Anyway, discuss. So sunbathing's not only good for us, it is essential. The skin cancer, she says, blamed on sunshine is not caused by the sun. It is beyond the scope of this book to go into this subject in detail, but it is a fact that skin cancer, just like any other cancer, is caused by our modern processed foods and our modern toxic lifestyles. Trans fats from vegetable oils and margarine and other toxins stored in the skin are a particular culprit. In addition, some of the sunscreens that people use contain chemicals which have been proven to cause skin cancer. Just as with cholesterol, the misguided idea or hypothesis of one person about sunlight causing skin cancer has been picked up by commercial powers and made the common knowledge. We humans have spent our lives outdoors in the sunlight for millions of years before we started hiding from the sun. All the time we were exposed to sunlight, even in cold weather, we produced vitamin D. In those times of the year when there isn't much sunlight, vitamin D production drops. So these are the times when we have to pay particular attention to our diet, making sure we consume plenty of foods with a good amount of this vitamin. She says here, cod liver, eggs, butter, and liver. So my vegan friends, we're going to be talking about mushrooms. I would like to draw your attention to the richest natural source of vitamin D, she says, cod liver oil. It contains around 210 micrograms per 100 grams, which puts it above way above all other foods. The next richest source is egg yolk, and that only provides 4.94 micrograms per 100 grams, almost 40 times less than cod liver oil. It is per 100 grams of egg yolks, not per egg yolk. After egg yolks, butter provides only 0.76 micrograms and calf liver 0.2. The recommended daily allowance in the UK for vitamin D is 10 micrograms per day. In order to receive that amount, one would have to consume 200 grams of egg yolks per day or more than a kilogram of butter. On top of that, this allowance is minimal, set only to avoid developing rickets or osteomalacia. To have optimal health, the majority of people need more vitamin D per day than the recommended allowances. GAPS patients, which is her diet once again, due to poor digestive function and toxicity in the body, require much larger amounts of vitamin D than the recommended allowances. Spending time outdoors in sunlight and sunbathing are the best ways of getting vitamin D. In winter, when there is very little sunlight, supplementing cod liver oil is the best way to get the good amounts of vitamin D as cod liver oil. And I know when I was reading about Weston Price and that diet, they talked about fermented cod liver oil. So when we look at traditional diets of people around the world, the further from the equator we move, the more people prized and consumed fish livers and polar animal livers, particularly in the winter. What does it mean for our bodies to be deficient in vitamin D? Okay, So this is the question here. Why are some studies showing that vitamin D deficiency is linked to the flu and other more complicated issues with SARS, for example, and MERS and whatever's going on now? And so this is interesting. Like, why? Why do we need vitamin D so much, and why does our body go crazy without it and weak? Well, she says that diabetes is one of the first causes of lack of vitamin D because it's essential for blood sugar control. Heart disease is next on the list. Mental illness, so that's why the seasonal depression might kick in. Autoimmune illness, such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, inflammatory bowel disease, multiple sclerosis, and more. Obesity, osteoarthritis, rickets, and osteomalacia. Don't know how to say that, sorry. Muscle weakness and poor neuromuscular coordination, high blood pressure, cancer, chronic pain, poor immunity, and susceptibility to infections. Hyperparathyroidism, interesting, which manifests itself as osteoporosis, kidney stones, depression, aches and pains, chronic fatigue, muscle weakness, and digestive abnormalities. Okay. Unfortunately, apart from sunlight and cholesterol-rich foods, there is no other appropriate way to get vitamin D. So what are some other cholesterol? Well, she talked about the cholesterol-rich foods. Okay, the egg yolk. Of course, there are supplements, but most of them contain vitamin D2. Okay, what does that mean? Which is made by irradiating mushrooms and other plants. So is this vitamin D2 in here? It says vitamin D, 3 micrograms. So she said we needed 10, but this says 15%. Okay, interesting. Where am I? Okay. This vitamin D2 is not the same as the natural vitamin D. It does not work as effectively, and it is easy to get a toxic level of it. Ooh. In fact, almost all cases of vitamin D toxicity ever recorded were cases where this synthetic vitamin D2 has been used. It is impossible to get toxicity from natural vitamin D obtained from sunlight or cholesterol-rich foods because the body knows how to deal with an excess of those things, just not the fake crap. We don't know how to process fake stuff, even fake people. We're like, how do we deal with this? Vitamins A and D are partners. Oh, how cute. Vitamin D has been designed to work as a team with vitamin A. They do not work properly with each other, and a deficiency without each other, and a deficiency in one creates an excess in the other. That's interesting, to the point of making it toxic. Ooh. In the last decades, many Western processed foods have been fortified with synthetic vitamin A without any idea of supplying vitamin D. Because of the widespread deficiency in vitamin D, this synthetic vitamin A becomes toxic to the body, causing various health problems. This is just another example of how much risk we put ourselves at when we consume processed foods. Think twice when you drive through, people. Recent testing revealed that a large part of the Western population has too much vitamin A stored in their bodies thanks to fortification by processed foods. It says it's fortified. That means it's good, right? No. When both A and D vitamins are present in the body in the right amounts, they do not allow each other to get out of control. Stay away from cereal, people. If the person has stored too much vitamin A, it means that this person is deficient in vitamin D. Oh, that's interesting. So if I've got too much clutter, I must be deficient in something, or over efficient in the clutter bug. Anyway, and indeed, that is the case for the majority of the Western population. Vitamin D deficiency is rampant. As a result of these findings, cod liver oil has come under attack as it provides more vitamin A than D. As often happens in nutritional science, the immediate knee-jerk reaction was that we must not consume cod liver oil, as the authorities still tell the population to stay away from the sun and avoid cholesterol-rich foods in order to obtain vitamin D. They have left themselves no alternatives but to recommend synthetic supplements. Vitamin A and vitamin D are partners, like I said. They have been designed to work together. Who designed it that way? Mama Gaia Nature. That is why natural foods rich in one are usually rich in the other. By taking cod liver oil, we obtain both vitamins at the same time. Okay. So then she talks, you can get the book, you can read like more about this cod liver oil stuff. Okay. Now she's saying fermented cod liver oil suggests just half a teaspoon a day. Does she say what's better? Cod liver oil or fermented? Do you want me to read this? Nobody's even watching. Okay, if anyone's watching, do you want me to read about the fermented versus non-fermented? Otherwise, I'm just going to go in the sun and get my non-fermented vitamin D. Okay, let's just read the last sentence of that paragraph. As all manufacturers add different doses of vitamins to their oil, it is a good idea to consult the manufacturer about dosages. Okay, common sense. The typical recommended daily dosages are 1 teaspoon for adults, half that for children, and a third for babies and very small children. Lactating mothers and pregnant women can have 1.5 to 2 teaspoons per day. Now, I will say hemp oil, okay, it didn't have vitamin D. I did check it. But that's just another thing. Like, we just need nutrition and minerals. Cereals are like, Dr. Kellogg's worst contribution to mankind. Well, that and circumcision. But anyway, yeah. Fortified cereals. One, ank, they, ooh, yay. Okay. These amounts of cod liver oil on a regular basis over time would gently help to correct A and D deficiency. And let us not get too focused on the exact ratios of these vitamins in the oil, as cod liver oil is not the only source of these vitamins for a GAPS patient. The GAPS diet is going to be the main source of vitamin A and a good source of vitamin D. Sunlight exposure is going to provide the remaining vitamin D for your patient, so make sure to spend a good amount of time outdoors every day. Keep in mind that we supplement cod liver oil only to remove the tip of the deficiency iceberg. Diet and lifestyle are the most important changes to make. And another thing that I learned is that each cell in your skin that's exposed to the sunlight creates the vitamin D. So if you're just out there with your face or your nose and your eyes, that you're getting even less vitamin D. Okay, so, oh my gosh, it's been 18 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up by reading the other amounts of vitamin D in these amazing mushrooms. Are you ready? This is Buna shimeji, aka beach mushroom. That's easy to say. What we got here? 6% vitamin D. Hey, better than nothing. 1 microgram. Can you read that? And it's got no calcium. It has iron, 8%, 1 milligram. Potassium, 8%. Thiamine, riboflavin, 10 and 15%. Pantothenic acid, 15%. 670 micrograms. Vitamin B6, 6%. Ornithine, nothing. Why was it even on there? Wait, no, it says 116 milligrams of ornithine. Do you know that I took ornithine on a liver cleanse by Dr. Holder Clark for pain relief or to help me sleep? Ornithine. So, wow. This is going to help you sleep, people. All right, now the mother of mushrooms, maitake, baby. I think I'm going to put them all in a broth tonight and make some soup and sleep so well. Oh my gosh, you are not going to believe this. It has 60% of the vitamin D that we need. It has 12 micrograms. Do you realize that that is more? That is more than eggs, right? She was breaking it down here. She said that, did I? Oh my gosh, I took the freaking bookmark out, but I can just look it up again. Vitamin D, 280. Now, wait a minute here. This is interesting, isn't it? I think she forgot. I don't think she knows about mushrooms. She did say irradiated. Okay. 4.994 micrograms per 100 grams in an egg yolk. 210 micrograms in the liver oil. Okay, that beats this. But this is 12 micrograms per 100 grams. That is the next richest thing. The egg yolk only has 4.94, and this has 12. And the bunashimaji has 1, which is more than liver. And the trumpets have 3, which is, okay, a little bit less than the yolk. But maitake mushrooms, people. Maitake, tiki-taki, tiki-taki. Good thing to eat in the winter. All right, I am signing off. I love you all. Please subscribe. If you'd like to sponsor any of my videos, let me know. I love you. Bye.